The keyboard console has been in continuous use since Roman times. It's among the most recognisable symbols of music. Remarkably, this is the first explanation for why the black and white keys are patterned as they have always been, other than by reference to music theory, which is an understanding by association alone. It's what's not known about the pattern that makes it interesting, and Kevin Halpin's volumes of work have successfully unified the different aspects of music into a single system of thought for the first time ever. Regardless of their colour, the digitals serve a purely mechanical purpose, open and close airflow in organs, or strike a string in a piano. The pattern is not even a part of other musical instruments. All musical instruments, however, must conform to what this pattern represents. It's a law of nature that we can't go around. So what does it mean beyond what a music teacher or music theorist would say? All the major keys in music have an identical scale pattern: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, also known as the do-re-mi. When the starting point is C, it identifies these notes as the scale notes of C major. If the key is A major, the scale pattern will utilise these digitals, and 3 of them must be black to conform to the required pattern. No matter which note you start from, the pattern of black and white digitals accommodates the scale pattern of all major scales. The scale pattern for minor keys are different to the major scale, but all minor scales too find what they need, without error, from the same repeating pattern. That's what a music teacher or theorist might say. But the pattern is what science calls a simple rule, such as in chaos research, as unrelated as that aspect of nature seems to music. In chaos research, such simple rules allow for the development of order and variety in nature by the principle of self-similarity. It's actually not chaos as in disorder, but rather that complex organisation results from the principles of chaos, whether at a chemical level or across whole environments. For instance, all the cells which compose the human body begin as the same, but as they divide and keep on dividing the same way, some come to become eye cells, while others organise themselves into a heart or a bone. This is the development of order through a simple rule in action. With music, the simple rule is in the scale pattern. The pattern of the keyboard console is a simple rule also, but by its simple repetition, it becomes the environment in which the rule for scale steps can develop meaningfully. They work together, like 2 dancers locked in an embrace while in motion. Together, they produce any kind of music. As in nature, music has variety through self-similarity, using its environment and simple rules. The groupings of black and white keys count into Fibonacci numbers, and Fibonacci numbers are found everywhere in nature. You can find them in the structure of DNA, no differently to their presence in the structure of plants or in the anatomy of creatures, including us. In fact, there are only 3 basic ways for all the higher plants on Earth to be arranged, and the different examples set by Fibonacci numbers accounts for around 80% of them. For some reason, it's part of what makes nature work, and it's part of what makes music work, no matter what instruments are involved. The sequence is closely associated with the golden ratio. Arrange squares in the lengths of the Fibonacci sequence so they produce what's called golden rectangles. A spiral whose ratio is the golden ratio will then correspond to them precisely. This is the spiral which is found in animals, flowers, vegetables, and natural phenomena. This spiral is also how the Fibonacci sequence can provide a visual representation of the principles of self-similarity's involvement in the elemental structure of music. When the spiral is flipped, then overlapped, so the 2 smallest terms of each spiral overlap and form a circle, this fractal is the result of the transposition. To appreciate the fundamental importance of that better, think about this. There are a number of ways that sentient, intelligent beings from opposite sides of the universe could communicate with one another, despite the differences in their technology or their methods of perception. One way is by representing to each other the structure of the atomic elements. They would be recognised unambiguously. Another way is to represent graphically how distance is connected to the natural numbers, defining the units of 1, 2, 3, and so on. The concept of the natural numbers too would be unambiguous and understood in common. Greater mathematical communication can then follow. The keyboard console, despite being technology designed for human hands, is representing a universal truth Similarly, an evolved being from the other side of the universe would not need fingers or even hands to recognize that someone who knows the pattern is intellectually and spiritually mature enough to use harmony and to think harmonically. Indeed, by analysing the pattern of a keyboard console, Kevin Halpin has discovered that there is a connection between a musical tone, harmonics, and information stored within energy everywhere. The structure of music is present in the structure of nature. Music is effortless to enjoy and commonplace in everyone's lives. The principles underlying music are effortless to manifest and are commonplace in nature, whether it be in the structure of light, the behaviour of gravity, or the behaviour of our spirituality in response to music. When you enjoy music, you're sharing in something which is universal in the energy, which makes all things be as they are, and all of it is endlessly beautiful.